Question number 32. A rectangle, a triangle, and two congruent semicircles were used to form the figure shown. Now, let me do the rectangle green, triangle blue, and the semicircles red. Which measurement is closest to the area of the figure in square centimeters? Now, I want to find the area of the figure. How do I find the area of this robot-looking figure? Is there a formula for something like this? No, but there is a formula for this. There's a formula for this, and for this separately. Now, which one do you want to find first? I think the easiest one would be this one right here. 8 and 6. That means it's not a square, it's a rectangle. The rectangle, I'm going to do it in green. The formula to find the area of a rectangle is base times height. The base for this rectangle is 8, and the height is 6. What's 8 times 6? 48 centimeters squared. Now this is the this is the area for this rectangle right here. For this area, for this sector, we already have it. Now let's find it for the triangle. How do I find the area for a triangle? Well, the area of a triangle, I find it by doing half base times height. So half of the base, because this one's 6, this is also 6 centimeters. The base is 6. The height is 4. Now, can I do half of anything here? I can do half of 6. What's half of 6? 3. 3 times 4. What's 3 times 4? 12 centimeters is squared. So I have the area for this shape as well, which is 12 centimeters is squared. Now, all I need to find next would be these two semicircles. In my classroom, I had several say the same thing. Sir, but I have two halves of a circle, two semicircles. If I were to combine them, that means I just have one circle. And that's exactly right. So, all we need for two semicircles would be just one formula to find the full circle, because two half circles give you a full circle. And the formula, find the area of a circle, is pi r squared. Now, pi represents 3.14, and the radius, what's the radius? Well, the diameter is 3, and because radius is half of the diameter, the radius would be 1.5. So it's 1.5 is squared. That means I'm going to have to multiply 1.5 times 1.5. What's 5 times 5? 25. 5 times 1 plus 2, 7. I'm done with 5. 1x means 1, 0. What's 5 times 1? 1 times 1. There we go. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. 1 plus 1 is 2. How many decimal places do I have? 2. So I have 2.25 for 1.5 squared. All I gotta do next, todo lo que tengo que hacer, es multiplicar 3.14 por 2.25 y agarrar la respuesta, and I will get my answer for the area for the circles. What's 4 times 5? 20. 5 times 1 plus 2, 7. 5 times 3 is 15. 1x means 1, 0. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Two x's means two zeros. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 0 plus 0 plus 0, 0. 7 plus 8, 15. 1 plus 5 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. Plus 8 is 16. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 6, 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. 1 plus 6 is 7. How many decimal places do I have? 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That means I have 7.06. Now, what am I going to do if the area for the circles is 7.06, 12, and 48? Well, to find the area for everything, I'm going to have to add them up. As soon as I add them up, I get my answer. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 7 is 17. And then 1 plus 4 plus 1 gives you 6. So my area is 67 centimeters squared. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another one of Jesus Mijares videos from Cathy Middle School. Let's continue with the benchmark review, starting with question number 31. Now, the table shows Avery's net worth statement. The net worth statement includes the bank account, car, current value, which is the one that's missing, credit card debt, real estate, student loans, investments, and so on. Now, Avery's net worth is $53,755, meaning that is what she is worth. That's how much money she has, whether it's a positive value or a negative value. Some people are in debt, so it would be a negative, but in her case, she's doing pretty good. Based on the information on the table, what is the current value of Avery's car? Well, first things first, we need to find out how many liabilities value she has, how much, and how much assets she has. That way we can know how much her net worth would be. Now, first things first, we have to see how much this adds up to, because in total, she has $53,755. That's how much she has in total. But we're going to see if this does add up to $53,755. And it shouldn't, because there's a missing value. Whatever we get, we're going to be able to find our missing value with that. Now, let's go ahead and highlight these in green because they're positive numbers. What I'm going to do with them is I'm going to combine the ones that are positive. For right now, I have 37,425 plus 3,900 and 4,600. This would represent assets, right? Now, 5 plus 0 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 0 plus 0 is 2. 4 plus 9 is 13. Plus 6, 19. The 9 goes here. The 1 goes here. 7 plus 3 is 10. Plus 1, 11. Plus 4, 15. The 1 goes here. 1 plus 3 is 45,925. That's how much money she has. But we also have to consider how much she owes. Now, you know what? Let me choose red. That's what when I see negative, I think of red. I don't know about you guys. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm also have to consider this. I can't just have what what Avery's assets are, I also have to consider the liabilities. Let me see how much she owes in total. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Sometimes it happens. 0 plus 0 is 0. 5 plus 0 is 5. 9 plus 7 is 16. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4. So 4,650. That's how much money she owes. This would represent liabilities. So we would have to subtract it from her assets. Because net worth represents asset minus liabilities. Make sure you remember that. Ahora 5 minus 0 is 5. Can I subtract 5 from 2? No, I have to borrow. This becomes 8. This becomes 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. 8 minus 6 is 2. 5 minus 4 is 1. The 4, you bring it down. Awesome. Ahora, I have 41,275. 41,275. That's how much money. And you know what? I think I made a mistake here. Should have been green, so let me highlight it green. So I have 41,275. All right. Is this supposed to be my total? No, this is supposed to be my total. I'm missing my car value. This is supposed to be my total, but this is what I have without the car. So to find what the car is, how much the car is, I'm going to subtract both totals because the difference is the car. 5 minus 5 is 0. 7 minus 5, I can't do that, so I borrow. 15 minus 7, I can do that. 6 minus 2 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. And then 5 minus 4 is 1. So the car value is 12,480. And that's the answer. Question number 33. Ms. Gonzalez gathered data on the number of vowels in the first and last names of each of her students. Now, the first number of vowels. Each of her students. The data are shown in the top plot. Now, the data, as we said, was the vowels in students' names. You can see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It depends on their first and last names. What percentage of students have 5 or more vowels in their first and last names? Okay. So what we want to focus on is 5 or more. This is what we want. So are we going to take a look at 2? What about 3? 4? No. We're not going to focus on that. We're just going to focus on 5. Are these 5? Are these 5 or more? Are these 5 or more? 5 or more? More. Exactly. Now, what percentage of the students have 5 or more vowels in their first and last names? So how many do we have for 5 or more? How many do we have here? Well, we count them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 students that have 5, exactly 5 vowels in their first and last name. So you have 5 here. How many do we have here? I'm sorry, no. We have 10. 10 that have 5. Yeah, that's what. How many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 right here. 1, 2. We have 2 right here. 1 and then a 1. So how many do we have? Well, we have 10, 7, 17, 19, 20, 21. So there's 21. The part that we're focusing on is 21. And the part we're focusing on is 5 or more over the total. 5 or more, there's 21. And how many do we have in total? Well, then there is where we actually have to consider these. Even though that's not our main focus, we still have to consider it for our total. So we know this is 21. So this would be 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So 21, oh, sorry about that. 21 over 30. Now, is there anything that I can simplify this fraction by? Yeah, I can divide by what? By 3. Okay, let's try 3. What's 21 divided by 3? 7. 30 divided by 3? 10. 7 out of 10. Now, that is not a part of our answer. We don't have a fraction there. So, that means we need to make this into a percent. To make this into a percent, first we have to make it decimal. So from fraction to decimal, and then from decimal to percent. We turn it into a fraction simply by dividing into a decimal. From fraction to decimal, we divide. How many times can 10 go into 7? Well, it can't. So how many times can it go into 70 when we add a decimal and a decimal place? 7. 10 times 7 is 70. That means my decimal is 0.7. But I'm not looking for a decimal. I'm looking for a percentage. So how do we go from decimal to percent? Dr. Pepper, that means 1, 2 to the right, because we have a decimal, we want percent. And because there's a blank right here, we're going to add a 0. That means we have 70% that have 5 or more vowels in their first and last names. Now, number 34. Which situation can be represented by this equation? Well, in this one right here, what the 250 is representing is you're adding it just one time. Adding. This means 65x. This is what you're multiplying by your pattern, right? The change. The slope, however you want to call it. And then, last but not least, equals to the total. So the total is 575. We're going to read each one just to see if it's exactly the equation they're giving us. Let's read F. Jeremy is traveling to a location that is 575 miles away. That would represent the total. That looks good. This represents a total. He has already traveled 250 miles. So this is something that you're going to just add just one time. That's already there. Already there. What is X? The number of hours that Jeremy will need to travel at a speed of 65 miles per hour. Well, that means multiplying by 65. And because you're multiplying by 65, all this looks correct. So, let me just change it the color one time. Already there. That's what I put for 250. So let's put a maybe for here. Jeremy is traveling to a location that is 570 miles away. Once again, this is your total. This is good. We just need two more things to be correct as well. He has already traveled 250 miles. So that's your one time. And that looks good as well. What is X, the number of additional miles that Jeremy will need to travel to reach the location? What G does not have, it doesn't have 65x. You're not multiplying by anything. We don't have M or multiplication. We don't have the 65. Jeremy's reading a book with 575 pages. Again, the total they're getting it correct. That's good. He has already read 65 pages. There we go. This is your one time, but our one time should be 250, not 65 pages. And then once again, another thing that's wrong is 250x. You're multiplying by 250 when in reality we should be multiplying by 65. So this one is incorrect. And last one, Jeremy's reading a book with 575 pages. That is the total. That's good. Everything's good there. He has already read 315. This is your one time, and I have no idea why we have 315 when we never did. What is X? Number of pages Jeremy has left to read to finish the book. So here we're even missing the what are we multiplying by? No 65 X. So this is wrong. The only one that's correct is F. Number 35. The angle measures of a triangle are shown in the diagram. Now, what is the value of X? Okay. To find X, we first have to go over something. The angle sum of a triangle, meaning whatever the numbers are, they should always equal 180 degrees. Siempre. That's something that you should know and remember forever. Triangle always adds up to 180 degrees for its angles. So that means these three angles, they will equal 180. We have two of them already. We have 30, we have 50, and we have 2x plus 10. Ahora, we're going to add that up. And then we're going to use the 180 to be able to find what x is. Let's go ahead and write everything. 2x plus 10 plus 30 plus 50. If we add everything together, it should give us 180 degrees. It will give you that. Now, what's the first thing that we can do? Can we do anything on the left side to make it shorter, simplify it to continue with the next step? Yeah, well, we can add the 10, the 30, and the 50 because they're whole numbers. That means we can combine them. So what's 10 plus 30 plus 50? So 2x plus 10 plus 30 is 40. 40 plus 50 is 90. Is equal to 180. Ahora, we have a two-step equation right here. This two-step equation, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a T-chart. That way we can have a little bit more organization. So whatever we're going to do, we're going to do it within this T. Now, what's the first step whenever we are dealing with two-step equation? Addition and subtraction. What's the opposite of adding by 90? What's the inverse operation? Subtracting by 90. What I do to one side, I do to the other. That means I have 2x. These cancel each other out. Is equal to 90. Now let me do it in another color because I can't see that. 90. There we go. 90. Now the 2 and the x, they're multiplying. What's the inverse operation of multiplying by 2? Dividing by 2. So your value of x equals whatever you get from dividing 90 by 2. So when I divide 90 by 2, how many times can 2 go into 9? 4. What's 2 times 4? 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Then you bring the 0 down. 2 times what gives you 10? 5. That means x equals to 45. And that's your answer for number 35. Number 36. What is the solution set for the inequality 4 minus 5g is greater than 39? Ahora, this one. What we can do is usually we do have our variable, whatever our variable is, whether it has a number or not, usually is in the front. So we can flip these. That way there's no confusion as to what to do. Or we can work with it right here. It doesn't matter. But this is the same thing. Negative 5g. And because this is positive, is plus 4 is greater than 39. This is the exact same thing, guys. I just flipped it. I just turned it around. Everything's good. Ahora, now we're going to treat this the same way as we treat a two-step equation. In a way, it has the same rules, just a tad different. Now, what's the first step whenever we're dealing with a two-step equation or inequality in this case? Yes, correct. It involves adding or subtracting. Inverse operation of adding by 4 is subtracting by 4. But what I do to one side, I have to do where? To the other. Correct. Now, these cancel each other out. But the negative 5g didn't. And then you bring it down. 39 minus 4, that's 35. There we go. Now, what's the second step? It involves, correct, multiplication and division. So what's the inverse operation of multiplying by negative 5 divided by negative 5? What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Now I bring the g down. And then for right now, I'm going to stop. Just for right now. 35 divided by negative 5. I have a positive and I have a negative. When we have that, we're going to have to draw a little Dorito, a Dorito guy. We have the plus, minus, and minus. Now, in this case, we have a positive and a negative. When you draw it, because we have a positive and a negative, you're going to use your finger to cover a positive and a negative because that's exactly what we have. Now, when you use your finger to cover these two, what do you end up with? A negative. Okay, so what's 35 by negative 5? 35 divided by negative 5. Negative 7. Now, a rule. When dealing with inequalities, this is the difference between equations and inequalities. One of them, at least. When you divide or multiply by a negative number, the inequality symbol will be flipped. Now, with that said, when you divide by a negative, instead of having greater than, we're going to have less than. And this is our answer. G is less than negative 7. That means our answer is